This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have a Bloomberg electric dryer that's not getting hot, so we're going to be replacing the faulty element we have right here. And it's pretty easy to do. These are a couple of the high limits that might blow. It can also cause your dryer to have less heat or not enough heat. So we also have a dryer maintenance portion at the end of the video. I'm going to check for AC voltage first at the 240 volt receptacle at the back of the dryer just to make sure that there's power. You can also make sure both breakers are in the full on position for your dryer because it'll have two breakers dedicated to it. So I'm putting one probe on each incoming power leg and I should get around 240. Shows about 243. So we definitely have the right amount of power coming in. If one of the breakers trips, you may have a dryer that operates but doesn't heat because half of the energy coming in goes for moving the dryer and the other one goes for heating. Just unplug the washer portion. And then I'm going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and just zip out all these perimeter screws that are holding on the back case. It's just taking a couple of minutes. So it's kind of an unusual brand, but pretty easy to work on. It's always good though to check both breakers to make sure they're fully on. Kind of reset those two would be good just to make sure you have the right amount of voltage coming into your dryer. Okay, so we have it unplugged. We're now going to take out a couple of Phillips head screws that are holding on the element. One here in the upper left hand corner, one in the lower right hand corner. And then we have to take out the electrical receptacle. I'm just using a camera to get a good picture of the two plugs that go on the other side of this white plug that we see. We can't see the back of it, but the picture allows us to see there's two plugs there. And we just have to reach in and wiggle those out. We have a nice access hole here in the lower left corner, so it's easy to put the hand in there and just wiggle those out. There's one, two, there we go. So the small one goes at the top and the bigger one goes at the bottom. So we're just pulling this out of its tabs. Now the element is loose. Can lift up on the one here on the left hand corner, kind of lift up, get that out. And we're going to grab this plug and get it out. I tried just pressing it on the tabs to get it out, but it was pretty stubborn. So I finally just used a pair of vice grips, which give me a lot of leverage, and pulled it out. I'm going to test the high limits here by doing a continuity test. And I should be able to hear when I put the probes on either leg of the high limit. I should hear a beep. In the bottom one I get a beep, but not the top one. So that one's tripped. That's why we're only getting half the heat. You could theoretically just replace this high limit because the element might be okay. To test the element, you can just put a probe on either side of each of the elements and you should get a beep. If you do have a high limit that blew, it could be that the vent tube where the dryer exits out the hot air may be plugged and that caused it to get too hot. So I'm grabbing with a pair of vice grips and I'm just going to pull this jack out because it wasn't coming out the way it should, but that's okay because we're going to be replacing it. So here we go with the new one. see that this one goes down in the upper left-hand corner to lock the element in. And prior to that, though, you want to take this tab in the lower right and put it into its slot, and then do the one in the upper left-hand corner, push it in and then down to lock it in. And we'll add those screws to hold it. So now we're going to push that plug into the firewall, into the cabinet, and now we're going to put the plugs into that. You can use your old one as a reference how that works. So I can put the little one in first, that goes on the top. I can kind of feel it. Just make sure when you put that plug in, you push it all the way in as far as it'll go. Kind of wiggle it in. And we'll do the bigger one that goes below it. So both of those are in nice and secure right into these plugs. Little one on top, bigger one at the bottom. So go ahead and put in the Phillips head screws to hold that element back on. We're going to put on the cowling, the vent cowling again, and it's got to be a really good seal so the heat doesn't escape. So it has a little rubber gasket, and it has a bunch of Phillips head screws. We're going to put those all back in to get them tight. And then we'll just put it all back together. The last thing we do in the video here is we're going to clean a thing called the moisture sensor, which is really just two metal bars. They're able to sense the moisture content of the clothing. So this is the back vent tube. I got it all in position. I'm just going to put on some heat tape to get it sealed really well. The shorter the distance of this tube, the better. If it has a lot of turns in it, a lot of 90-degree turns, it's more apt to get clogged up. So I'm going to try a cycle and make sure it's heating okay. Just have to hold it for a few seconds to start it. It's good to try a couple of the cycles, the time dry cycles and maybe the regular cycle, just to make sure it's heating up fine. So the problem before was it was heating but not enough because I think one of the elements wasn't working. So I can feel it's nice and hot now. I'll go ahead and clean this filter. This is a really fine mesh filter, kind of like we see in the German models, like with the Miele and the Bosch. So I'm going to use this lint to get rid of most of the clog here. This is the model number for this model, made by Bloomberg. And what I'm doing now is just cleaning this a little bit better by using, I used a old toothbrush and some detergent and hot water, and then I'm just drying it out. But you want to get this so clean that it looks kind of like a white stocking, no gray color, and then the air can flow through there really well. I wouldn't use those dryer those dryer lint sheets either, because they cause kind of a waxy coating that can mess up the filter. So here's the moisture sensor, these two metal bars just right here by where you put in the filter, and I'm cleaning that with some water and a toothbrush. You could use some alcohol, would be fine. And since I got it wet, I'm going to dry it really well and just rub any waxy residue that might be on there, because that can also mess up the computer's ability to read the moisture content of the clothes. And that's it. So that fixed it. It's back working good. Thanks so much for watching our video. We really appreciate your support. And when you get a chance, please press the subscribe button below so you can be subscribed, and also the notification bell so we can send you more videos about appliance repair. Please also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you really liked the video and it really helped you, please press this new applaud button and you can show your support and also get a nice clapping hands for your video. Thanks again.